What is up, Panther family? I could not be more pumped to have the guy that I have with me tonight. This dude is an absolute freak, as his shirt even says. It's Mr. Jamil Muhammad. He is the starting outside linebacker for the football team. He tore it up last season. If everybody remembers Jordan Strahan, we were all thinking like, who's going to be the replacement for that guy? I think Jamil literally stepped right up to the plate for that. I could not be more excited about him going forward next season. Huge honor to have him on tonight. I love having him on because this will be a perfect opportunity for you guys to get to know this guy better because, man, is he a freak. So I will give the mic to you, Jamil, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit to my listeners and kind of let them know about where you're from and why you chose Georgia State and all that good stuff.
Yeah. So first, I'm gonna just start out, man. My name is Jamil Muhammad. I am from Huntsville, Alabama. And I chose Georgia State because it was just a warm welcome. I felt the family nature here. Just a quick backstory. I actually went to Vanderbilt at first to start out for a little bit, and then I ended up transferring in as quarterback. And there was some trials and triumphs within the process. But Coach Elliott is a. I always like to say this. He's a stand-up guy. What he says, he does. And I really appreciate him as not only a coach, but as a man as well. He embodies what a man is supposed to embody, as far as just respecting his players, but also loving his players with tough love, with tough coaching, tough teaching. And that's just what I was brought up around with two wonderful parents, Sabrina and Chef. And I really appreciate everything he's done for me and my family by giving me the opportunity to come here and just allow me to make a difference, not only in my life, but in my family's life and my teammates and coaches' lives.
Okay. Yeah, man. No, I actually, that was one of the questions that I had ready for you. And, I'll go ahead and ask it, man. It seems like you and Coach Elliott have just a really great relationship. I was reading some articles on AJC about you guys. I've even, seen myself, like I said, I normally sit front row on the home game. So I'm right there on the sidelines, Seems like you guys have a great relationship. So, I mean, like, can you kind of go into a little more detail about how that relationship really formed and, what drew you to Coach Elliott and maybe what drew Coach Elliott to you as well?
Yeah, I mean, like they say, great minds think alike. And I like to say phenomenal minds think alike. Coach Elliott has an image and he has a picture of what he wants Georgia State to be. And his goal each day is to be able to, mold us into that as a group and also as individuals when it comes to manhood. So I think I know he teaches us some wonderful things, not just for the game of football, but also the game of life as well. And, like I said, I know what that looks like because I have two wonderful parents who teach me that on a daily. So I think it was just, Coach Elliott, just seeing what type of person I was, what type of man I was becoming, and what type of young man I already was. So I think he just, it was a mutual respect there, and it kind of molded into something bigger once, I went through some tough challenges with moving positions, and just the way I handled it. And I think he just had respect for my character, just the guy that I am on the field, off the field, each and every day. So.
Oh yeah. No, it sounds like won't speak for you, but it sounds like Coach Elliott has kind of become like almost a third parent for you because he just he's repeating the same things that your parents have been teaching you and bringing you up on your entire life. So that's good, man. That's good. I can tell he has that relationship with a lot of the players, but some like yourself is probably a little closer, and that that's how coaches do, man. And that's awesome, man. That's awesome. A little more lighthearted about Coach Elliott. What's maybe a couple things that the fans don't know about Coach Elliott, like maybe his favorite food or favorite music that you wouldn't think would be Coach Elliott or something,
Man, one thing about Coach Elliott that a lot of people don't know is like he really thinks he can dance, but like it's funny seeing him dance after a win. I want to say it was actually the Detroit game. He came in there, he came in a circle and did some like twist and stuff. But other than that, he's a pretty good jokester. He has some like pretty cool like dry humor, and
really cool.
It's just funny to hear. It's just funny to hear, especially when you're in practice. It kind of catches you off guard. So.
Okay, cool, man. That's perfect. That's honestly exactly what I was hoping for. That kind of answer, because us as fans, like we see Coach Elliott and we know that he's, he gets you guys fired up, but he seems like he's a very serious man. So it's awesome to hear that. No, man, he's got a funny side. So That's funny. That's funny. Awesome. Okay, cool, man. We'll go ahead and jump into the rest of the questions I have for you. It's not too many, so nothing crazy here. But this first question is one that I ask all the student athletes that come on, because I just think it's, an opportunity for you to really express, what it is that you love about being a student athlete, and specifically at Georgia State. So what is your favorite part about being a Georgia State student athlete?
I would have to say the experience and the connections you make through being a student athlete. Just being in the city of Atlanta. I've made some connections so far after the season that have that I believe will really propel me in the coming future. Just with connections as far as networking and
Right.
with my major social entrepreneurship. So it's just a lot of great things that you can find in Atlanta and bigger cities. Like New Orleans, and I guess you could say downtown Nashville, or not downtown Nashville, which is already downtown. And like downtown, just like a lot of downtown cities. So I would just point to the connections and like the I guess you could say the relationships that you build with being in a city like this. I think it's something that a lot of people take for granted, but I think it's something that you have to really pay attention to, because you can be standing next to the next best accountant or the next best lawyer. So
Right. It's not your like traditional like college athlete experience, because I lived in Athens for a few years. Athens is obviously a small town, right?
Right.
But, with it being in Atlanta, it's just a completely different experience for you guys. So yeah, that's cool, man. That's cool. Kind of to branch off a little bit about being a Georgia State student athlete, what so far has been your favorite memory? Is it, like a specific play, or maybe like a specific road trip? Like I know the Coastal game this last year was a huge win for the program, and maybe that's just because of the win. You guys were like, man, that trip was just so fun. So what's been your favorite like memory so far as a Georgia State student athlete?
I think my favorite memory was I definitely would have to say my favorite memory. Sorry, got a notification about my phone.
No, you're okay, man. It's all good. No worries.
I want to say my favorite memory would have to be the Troy game. Yeah, obviously because of the turnovers, but it was just a point after I think the second sack, once we came to the sideline. And I know I'm a hard worker. My teammates and coaches and family know I'm a hard worker, but it was just great to see like the fans to be able to see like, okay. And some of the rest of the world was beginning to see like, okay, this guy's serious. And once we hit the bench, I had one of my teammates, Jalen Jones, say, that comes from that work you've been putting in. So I think, my favorite moment about that was just, like I started realizing, okay, like something is clicking. So moving forward, it's gonna be pretty awesome to see what happens.
Oh yeah, no, man. That's what I was saying when we were off air, man. I'm excited, man. I know I'm expecting big things out of you next year, man. I think a lot of us are, and I know you're gonna deliver. I know you will.
Right.
Hell yeah, man. That's awesome. So really just kind of, reiterate it. It feels like, like you said, it's like the realization of like, man, all this work I'm putting in, I'm starting to see it on the field now. Right. I'm starting to get this production that's gonna, hopefully, and I'm serious, man, hopefully propel you to be playing on Sundays. Cause you got the raw skill for sure, man. Like, I remember my brother actually came to see the Troy game with me. And at one point you were on the bike, like on the sideline, like just kind of warming up. And you were right by us, like literally like right in front of us. And he told me, he goes, that kid's going to play in the NFL. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, look at him, man. He's a freak. So yeah, no, man, you got the build for sure. And it sounds like it, you're saying it, and I totally believe you. You got the work ethic, man, and you just keep working at it, and you just, sky's the limit, man. Sky's the limit.
I appreciate that, for real.
Of course, man. Of course. So yeah, my next couple questions, you kind of already went into it, so I'm definitely glad that you did. So maybe not most people did know that you actually started out as quarterback, and I think it's crazy, man. I looked it up. You threw for almost 1,800 yards and over 20 touchdowns your senior year. Were a 3-star prospect. Like, I mean, that's, for people who don't know, which anybody listens probably does, but that's damn impressive, So, really, my question though is like, what was, and I think you kind of already answered it with Coach Elliott, but what was like the biggest factor that made you stay at Georgia State and switch positions to outside linebacker instead of maybe going to another school, maybe a smaller school or whatever it may be, to continue like pursuing a career playing quarterback? Like what was like one of the biggest factors where you're like, you know what, I will switch positions. Let's go ahead and run it at outside linebacker at Georgia State.
I just didn't that's running is not my MO.
Mhm.
So I'm the type of guy, I came to the realization that look, it's crunch time. And I've always told my parents since I was little, like, I'm going to make it to the NFL.
Mhm.
I'm going to get drafted. I will have my name called in the first
Oh yeah.
round. So that's just how I've always believed. That's how I've always worked. So when it came to that, I had to really sit down and have like people like to call it a come to Jesus moment. And I had to just,
Right.
I had a serious talk with my parents, and I said, look, I want to make that goal a reality, not only for myself but for y'all as well.
Mhm.
So I just think, once I sat down and thought about it, like, I just looked at the numbers, I looked at the statistics, and I thought, okay, I've never been a statistic, and I won't be in this case. But
Yeah.
however, I need to make a critical decision for that'll really affect my family, not only this year, but probably 10, 15, 20 years from now.
Mhm.
Really a lifetime, if you think
Right.
about the
Right.
wealth that comes from it. So, it really was just a uh, decision, really not even made for myself. It was made in regards to my family and the love I have for them. So
Well, hell yeah, man. Hey, mad respect for that, man. To be, at someone at your age and make that kind of decision. I can't give you enough respect, man. That's incredible. So, and I'll be honest, man. Like, I think you made the right decision. Like, I think you're a natural born pass rusher. You got this, you got the skill, you got the build, you got the look, you got everything, man. So you got the mindset, the attitude. So, hey, man, I'm that's why, like, I reached out to you to interview. I was like, I got to get him on, man. This guy's gonna be
but
the first, top 3 round pick we have from Georgia State. I'm calling it right now. So
I appreciate it.
of course, man, of course. No, you got the skill set, man, for sure. For sure. But hell yeah, man. So yeah, my next question, a little more lighthearted, but it has to deal with one thing that you mentioned as well earlier, that you started out at Vanderbilt, which again, like, I'm not sure if many people did know that, but I think that's actually pretty interesting. And Nashville and Atlanta, like we both were mentioning, are pretty large cities in the South. But in my mind, like, really couldn't be more different. You know what I mean? Like, they're very, very different cities, like with the vibe and,
Right.
like, the nightlife and things like that.
Right.
So as a former resident of one city and a current resident of the other, explain to my listeners why Atlanta is just so much better than Nashville.
I mean, I think Atlanta is better than Nashville because of the sports aspect. Like, you got to think, you got Atlanta Hawks, you got the Atlanta Falcons, even though, they've had some struggles here in the past, but,
Mhm.
they're a professional football team.
Oh yeah,
People can talk about them. People can talk about them all they want to, but they pay tickets to go, they pay for the tickets to see the
exactly.
game. So, and then on top of that, you have Georgia State up and coming. We're a
Mhm.
wonderful program. We're gonna win the Sun Belt Championship this year.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And then I think what makes Georgia even better. And don't tell my back home people, because we were Roll Tide fans coming up, but they got Georgia got them a national championship this year.
Uh-huh.
So I think just the environment around Georgia sports, and just the connections you can make in Atlanta is kind of it's just kind of big. I think Atlanta is probably the mecca of business. Period. So
Yeah.
when
No,
I'm in
no, man, for
class
sure.
and we're talking about business, I think a lot of people and a lot of big time entrepreneurs, they base their businesses and they base their connections out of Atlanta.
Mhm.
So it's kind of the best of both worlds, especially in my field. So I
Okay.
just think
Yeah. No.
you can't really get better. You can't really get make it better than that.
Right. You're able to focus on a football career with a program that can actually, propel you somewhere, and you're able to be shaking hands and making connections with people that, could really help you out later on down the road. So,
Most definitely.
yeah, man, no, that's awesome. That's awesome. Um, yeah. And I think, the food is better in Atlanta. Music scene is better in Atlanta. I think everything's just better in Atlanta,
Yeah.
but maybe I'm a little biased.
Right.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah. Only got a few more questions here for you, man. So we'll be wrapping things up in a little bit. Um, this next question though, I was looking at some things about the Muhammad family. So I see that 2 of your brothers played college football too at Western Kentucky and Alabama A&M. So I'm gonna go ahead and guess it probably was, but definitely, we'll get it from the source. Was the Muhammad household pretty competitive growing up with you guys? I mean, me and my brother played sports, but not at that level. But we were damn competitive. So I can imagine it was a little competitive.
Man, look, I'm gonna tell you how competitive we are. So, for example, my birthday was just yesterday, right? And I went home. So usually, what I do, since I'm in college, obviously, I'll go home the weekend leading into my birthday, just to spend time with family, and then the next weekend I'll probably do something with a couple teammates or something out here. So we went bowling. And now, to remind you, the last time we went bowling, me and my dad has been like the king of bowling in our family life. So he's always beat me. I think I beat him maybe one time. So we were at the bowl game, and he had called me and said, "Hey, what you doing?" I said, I just left from bowling. You know, I'm the best bowler in the family. Just messing with you. He said, well, we can run it when you come home. I said, okay, well, I want Terrence, which is my other brother on my mom's side, and then my brother Tevin. Mm-hmm. So we all go bowling along with some other family and friends and my girlfriend. Mm-hmm. So and my mom, obviously. So it's me, my brother Tevin, my brother Terrence, and my dad in the same lane. So the first game, I rip him. I think I beat all of them by like 50 points. So my dad, he's kind of in his feelings, but he's the adult, so he's trying to hold up. He's trying to put that happy mask on. So the second game, my brother Tevin did clip us, but the third game was really funny because my dad couldn't get anything going, my brother Terrence couldn't get anything going, and my brother Tevin could not get anything going, and I beat him again.
There you go.
So I think that kind of got under my dad's skin because he know I have bragging rights for like another year.
Right. Yeah, no, man. I love how you're win the bowl game. You're like, hey, I'm the best bowler. And he's like, hey, let's run it back. And you're like, man, I'll beat you in real bowling too. Come on.
Right.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. No, that's too funny. And, I think I interviewed Darren, a couple months back, and he's got brothers too growing up. And he was like, man, we were competitive with literally anything we could be competitive. And I was like, that just anything. If you grow up playing sports and you have brothers, man, that's how your household works. Like anything you can make a competition, you're going to make it a competition. That's funny though, man. Sweet. So moving on, I'm actually from Alabama too. Not as north as Huntsville. A little about an hour south of Tuscaloosa. But yeah, so, us Alabama boys, sometimes we may get a little heat from being from Alabama for whatever reason. But what's the main thing you miss about living in Alabama? Because for me, man, it's just the simple way of living over there. You know what I mean? I miss it.
I'm telling you, hey, it's like Alabama is like a lot of things, I wouldn't say spread out because you have the downtown Huntsville area, Birmingham, and even sometimes Tuscaloosa, but like it's just not Atlanta. Like in Atlanta, everything is congested. Every time you go somewhere, it'll be traffic. Like right. It's a great view of the city, but when I go back home, I just feel that warm, like everything's spread out. I feel that warm, secluded feeling. And I'm a person, I don't like to be around a lot of people at once. I like to just I like to do my own thing. Like I don't even go out early, so I like to just chill. And I think Bama is like the perfect place for that, especially where I'm from. So.
Yeah. No, man, I'm the same way. Like you said, when I go home and I'm driving on those country roads and I'm the only one on the road, I'm like, man, this is nice. Man, this is nice.
Perfect feeling right there.
Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly. But hey, you know what? Just like you, it'll always be home. And I know it's always going to be waiting there for me. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Most definitely.
Oh, yeah. Awesome, man. Well, sweet, Jamil. We'll go ahead and wrap things up here with this last question. This is one thing to ask all my guests. So really just the idea of it is, I know people know that you're a football player, a damn good one at that. But there's probably a lot of things that people don't know about you. So what's one thing that you would want my listeners to know about you, the person, Jamil Muhammad?
Oh, most definitely. I'm probably the best leader you'll ever meet. And,
okay. Hell yeah.
You can call it bias all you want. Then another thing, I love to read. I don't go out, like I said, I don't party. I don't smoke, I don't drink. But I definitely love to read. I like to read personal development books. I'm actually about to get this big book called The 4 Agreements in just a little bit. I actually was about to order before we got on the phone, but nice. I like to grow my mind, and I think I can give that credit to my parents. They put me on game as far as while other people are doing this, you want to be doing this because that's what's going to separate you. So this is what I would have to point to.
Hell yeah, man. No, that's a perfect answer, man. I can tell you're a hell of a leader. You not only seem, but I can tell you're incredibly intelligent, very well put together, man. You got a good head on your shoulders, man. So
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. No, it's been a joy to talk to you, man. It's I'm proud to say that I've even been able to interview you. So that's awesome, man.
I appreciate the chance.
Of course, man. Of course. So like I said, we'll go ahead and wrap things up there. But again, just want to thank you so much, Jamil, for coming on, man. You're gonna be a freak, dude. I know it. This is gonna be one where I get to tell my kids, like, I interviewed somebody that was a first round pick in the NFL. So but yeah, man. No, it's been a joy to have you, man. I said this to all my guests. I'd love to maybe sometime over the spring or summer during your like spring practice or summer practice, just touch base, maybe have another interview, see how everything's going. See how you're feeling, how the team's feeling. But yeah, man, it's been an absolute joy. I wish you nothing but the best going forward, man, and God bless.
I appreciate it, man. Same to you. Good luck.
Thank you, man.
All right, be safe.
You too.